Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director, David Riggleman. Coming up on this show, an organization bringing the missing and lost home, plus a look back at some exciting events you may have missed. Joining us to discuss this and a whole lot more is our Ward 1 Councilman and Mayor Pro Tem, Brian Knudsen. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. I
How
appreciate
are you?
it.
Happy summer. It's not officially here, but we're close. We're really close.
My kids call it summer, so it's summer for us.
Exactly. If you're a parent, right.
It's very exciting. The kids are back in the pool, and we're having a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly. Kids out of school, that means summer.
It's summertime, yeah.
Right. So, well, folks, you know Ward 1 very well. It's your stomping ground. For those of you out there not exactly sure where Ward 1 is located, well, don't worry. We're going to show you on the map. Basically, it covers the area from near our downtown, including the medical district, and then runs all the way out into the northwest. And it's interesting because you go out there pretty far. You're all the way out to Cheyenne now. Ward 1 used to not venture out that far. Of course, what we try to do is keep all the wards about the same size population-wise. To make that happen, the boundaries sometimes have to move, and that's what we did. So, yeah, you've got a big ward there.
It's a very diverse ward. I love it.
Exactly. Well, Mayor Pro Tem, up first, we want to tell you about an organization of volunteers on call 24/7. They're committed to bringing the missing and lost home. We're joined by the commander of the Red Rock Search and Rescue Team, Mark Spear. Mark, thank you so much for being here. It is a real pleasure to have you on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here. Appreciate you having us here. It means a lot to the organization.
Mayor Pro Tem, Mark, I think a lot of people out there understand in general what you do, Mark, as far as Red Rock Search and Rescue. But for those maybe unfamiliar, maybe new to the area, explain a little bit about what the organization's purpose is.
Well, the purpose is, like you stated, is to bring the lost and missing home if possible. We search in the wilderness area from Valley of Fire to Mount Charleston to Lake Mead and everything in between in the wilderness. We also do an urban, what we call an urban search, where we search for people that have cognitive issues, maybe endangered medical issues that walk away from their caregivers.
You know, Mayor Pro Tem, that latter part that Mark was talking about is, you told me about that. Now, I've lived in Las Vegas for many, many years, and I didn't know until you told me that they will go out and search for people maybe who have dementia, who've wandered away. Again, as Mark said, who have cognitive challenges. I did not know that. I thought they only did searches out in the wilderness areas where, you know, they're trying to find maybe a missing hiker or something like that.
You know, I became aware. Mark approached me maybe, I'm going to say 6 weeks ago or somewhere thereabouts. All right. And there's a couple of things that were really relevant for me. One is it's a completely volunteer-run organization, so all volunteers. I think that's important. I get asked all the time, how can I give back to my community? Here's a perfect example of how you can give back to your community. Find something that you're passionate about and run with it. But yeah, the second part that I didn't know either is that in an urban environment, when you have an older population, which Ward 1 has a large percentage of senior citizens, and when you start having some of those cognitive delays, Mark provided some really good examples of how you can keep track of your family members. And so I thought it would be good for the city to kind of talk about those things. And Mark, do you mind just kind of saying those things that will help you in your efforts if someone does go missing?
Don't mind at all. We recommend to the caregivers that they limit the clothing that they have available so that you have an inventory of what they're wearing. So if they go missing, you know exactly they're wearing this color, this color pair of pants, this color shirt, these kind of shoes. Limit all of that. Have a recent picture of the person that may be under some kind of care, whether it's at the home or in a facility. That way, when we do a bolo, we know what they look like with a beard, without a beard, with colored hair, without colored hair for the women, short hair, long hair. So keep the pictures recent.
And a bolo is be on the lookout.
Be on the lookout, right?
Yeah. Thanks. I just assume everybody knows that.
I love the acronym.
Yeah. And there's other devices, tracking devices that can be purchased and worn, put in on a necklace, like the Apple tags. They can put them in pockets. They can attach them to the shoes. It just becomes second nature. And the person that wanders doesn't remember that they're there, doesn't care whether they're there or not. If they wander once, they're going to wander again.
Yes.
And so you have to be very careful. On the shoes, we try to get a picture of the bottom of the shoes. It's much like a fingerprint that we have. Every shoe, right shoe, left shoe, is unique. You have unique scratches on it. You have unique notches that have been taken out by rocks or whatever. And that way, if they go into the wilderness from the urban setting, which happens frequently, then we have a tracking team that can help find them.
Mark, let me ask you this. How many volunteers do you have? How many folks, and are the teams, do you have a team that does the wilderness versus those that do the urban searches, or is it all one and the same?
They're all one and the same. We run between 150 and about 200 members. Depends on the time of year. We have classes twice a year, bring in new recruits. And they're trained in both the urban and the wilderness searches. And whoever can respond when we put the call out, like last Friday night, we had a call out at 9 p.m. We got the call from the family. We responded at 10:30 with our command post and set the teams up, and they found him about an hour and a half later. Well, about an hour later, 11:25.
This is an individual who has dementia.
Some cognitive issues as well as some medical issues. So it was a critical missing.
And it was really hot on Friday, last Friday, as I recall, too. Very, very warm. So
very warm. And he sat at the same park all day, and nobody asked him anything.
So your folks went out and found him. How did you get into this, Mark? What was the appeal that drew you into such an important role?
Well, I've always wanted to give back as a member of the LA County Sheriff's Department, which I retired from. It's just ingrained in me. And so when I moved here and I was bored, and my wife and her girlfriend met some hikers from Red Rock Search and Rescue up on Mount Charleston, and the rest is history. I joined about 3.5 years ago, and my goal then was just to operate the radio at the command post, and I just loved it. And so I started getting into every single special team that we have to learn about the organization, and here I am leading it 3 years and change later.
Wow.
This really is like the best example of what to do with your time.
Yeah.
And I do get approached, I would say on a weekly basis, saying I want to give back, I want to do something for my community.
Yeah.
And my response is you got to find something you care about. Is it animals? Is it kids? But finding something that you're really passionate about, it really helps, because when you go out, I imagine it's not like a job for you. It's fun.
It's a love. We don't work a second. I would say of all of our members, and our members total, we put in over 28,000 hours in training and actual missions each of the last several years. And so the training is nonstop. It's a love for everybody. And when you find somebody and you can present them back to their family, there's no greater reward, period.
How would somebody volunteer if they want to get involved? What are the steps?
Contact us at our website, redrocksr.org. And there's an interest list. We're about to launch another one in August, and a class will start in September. We'll do it again in March, and then again the following August. And there's specialties. You can do the command post, which doesn't go out in the field. It's a command center where everything happens, where we keep track of our field team members. Then there's the field side, where you get tested and you carry a 20-pound pack, and you have to finish a qualification hike in a certain time frame. And so that's how they get involved. And then we provide all the training. There is a cost to each of the volunteers. I wish we could pay it, but we're an all volunteer. Nobody gets paid top to bottom, and we rely on foundations and the citizens' donations and generosity. So they'll have about $1,000 expense in the first year for either the command post or the field team. And then the field team has a little more expense as far as some qualifications. Now, our canine team has a lot of expenses, but that's personal, and their dog is their own, so they take care of that. It's not owned by Red Rock Search and Rescue.
Who started this organization, Mark, and how did it get started?
Well, a guy named Dave Cummings was the first commander and really set it up. And I just happened to bring him back to our team. He's no longer with the team. About 2 weeks ago, he was searching for a friend of a friend and up in Red Rock, and they were able to find him, and that's why we're called Red Rock Search and Rescue. Sometimes we don't like to be called Red Rock Search and Rescue because they think we're part of the Conservancy there. Right. But that's how it got started, and it's just been growing leaps and bounds every year.
What is the most difficult and or most gratifying find search and rescue success that you can share with us?
Well, the most difficult one was one for me, since I've been here, was a young girl in January who went missing and decided that she would take her own life. And it was a difficult 3 or 4 days searching for that person. The most gratifying is finding somebody who had written several books on trail running, was up in Red Rock Canyon, and just through circumstances, he ran out of water.
Oh, no.
At some levels, ran out of some foods, was stuck overnight, and we got the call from his family to go out and search for him. We found him in a couple of hours, brought him back down. We urged him strongly to get to a hospital, and he was trying to not go, and he spent 3 days in the ICU.
Oh, boy.
He was in pretty bad shape. He's now a team member for us.
Very good. Very good. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Mark, we have about 30 seconds left.
Okay.
Is there anything else you'd like to add while we have you on the program?
No, just like Councilman said, if you're bored, come join us. There's something for every single person. We have mission development, we have dog teams, we have tracking teams, bicycle teams, 4x4 teams.
Who knew?
And our big canine team. So there's something for everybody.
That's terrific. Well, great to have you on the program, Mark. Mayor Pro Tem, great suggestion to have him be with us today. It was a great discussion, so thank you so much. Mark, we're going to say goodbye to you. Mayor Pro Tem, and ask you to please stick around. Folks, we need to take a short break, but when we come back, a look at what's been happening in Ward 1, plus some upcoming events that you don't want to miss. It's right after this.
If you've been affected by suicide, you're not alone. Suicide is a leading cause of death that affects millions each year. In most cases, it happens when stressful life events overload the coping abilities of someone suffering from a mental health condition. And the most common condition associated with suicide is depression, an illness that goes undiagnosed or untreated far too often. But the research is clear. Suicide is preventable if we work together. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention has set a bold goal to reduce the annual suicide rate 20% by 2025. We can save tens of thousands of lives, but we need the help of everyday heroes like you. People have suffered in silence for too long, and too many families have had to weather their losses alone. You can change that. We need you to be the voice for suicide prevention, and it can be as simple as reaching out to a friend, because talk saves lives. If you're having thoughts of suicide, or if you're concerned about someone else, assume you are the only one who will reach out. You can also join hundreds of thousands across the country for our Out of the Darkness community walks and raise awareness of suicide within your community. Together, we'll bring hope to those affected by suicide and raise awareness to save lives. Learn how you can fight suicide. Visit afsp.org today.
Welcome back, everyone. Time to fill you in on some important community events you may have missed. Mayor Pro Tem, I love this first one up. It has to do with the proclamation in the medical district, one of your sources of pride and joy, the medical district all the way around. This was for Brianna Shaw. Now tell us who Brianna is and why you gave her a proc.
So Brianna is an exceptional high school senior. She's at Coronado, and she formed the first medical society for Coronado, but it expanded to all the other high schools in the Clark County School District. It's for students, juniors and seniors who are interested in going to medical school. And so getting them aligned with each other, number one, but then aligned with the hospitals and doctors' offices so they could do externships, internships, go and shadow a doctor to make sure that that's what they really want. And so that the event was, the Heels put it on to kind of celebrating Brianna. And it was National Denim Day, and so it was a fun event to talk about how great Brianna is, and then talk about those students and what they need to do to be successful in medical school.
And she started this organization herself.
On her own, yeah.
Wow,
when she was 16 years old.
That's really impressive.
It's how you get into medical school. you got to do those extra and above things to put on your resume, and so we talked about that with, there was about 100 students there, and said this is how you get into medical school. Make sure it's what you want, because you're gonna have to work really, really hard at it.
Well, we'll keep an eye out in the future for Dr. Brianna Shaw.
I'm sure she'll be there.
Okay. And then Mayor Pro Tem loved this. Had a little bit of rain, but it didn't dampen the spirits. Back on May 6th, the McNeil Neighborhood Pet Parade took place. And tell us about this.
Well, one, it wasn't a little bit of rain. It was a downpour.
That's right.
And it doesn't really rain in May in Las Vegas, but it was the wettest May in history in Las Vegas. And it was like on that one day, it was a downpour, but we still had a whole bunch of neighbors come out. Everyone brought their their dogs. And there was our local veterinarian who's there on Rancho in Charleston was there with the Las Vegas Pet Animal Hospital. And she hosted it along with the neighborhood association. And it was just a fun time to stand under a tent and let the dogs play with each other.
Nice. Is this going to be kind of an annual thing now?
I hope so.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's great. We have a lot of swag in my office with collars and leashes and dog bowls. And so it was kind of fun to give it away and let the dogs interact and talk to the neighbors about the goings-on of a neighborhood.
I like it.
We also have a dog park that I've been talking about for 4 years now.
Yes.
Rancho in Charleston, it goes in at the end of the year. So anytime anybody asks me, I say it's the end of the year, but I feel like I've been saying that for 3 years, but it's definitely the end of this year.
Very good.
So I'm very excited.
And who doesn't love a good dog park?
It's going to be great.
Especially if you're a pet owner, for sure. And then, Mayor Pro Tem, this was a great item. This took place back on May 6th. You honored our Citizen of the Month. In all my years of the city, I think it's the first time we've honored anyone posthumously, and it was a tough one because you honored Tyler Ballou, who passed away at just 13 years old. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so this was it. It's about Tyler, but it's about Tyler's family. So this is Eric Ballou speaking, and pictures of Eric and his son. Eric is someone who took something that was very tragic. It was the passing of his son in a very traumatic way, really because of a lack of access to healthcare here in Nevada. But he took that experience and turned it into something very meaningful, which is giving back to our community. And he volunteers and supports several organizations that advocate for better health care in Southern Nevada, and in particular, better health care for children. And so he's an active part in making sure that the new children's hospital coming into town is going to serve the kids that are just like his son that he lost. And so much like Mark, who we talked about earlier with Red Rock Search and Rescue, is taking something that you know how to do, that you're passionate about, and really trying to make your community better. And that's why I really wanted Eric to speak, is to give an example of how you can be a public servant. You don't have to work for government, but you can be an advocate and support how to make your community a better place.
I guess Tyler had cancer.
Yes.
And Councilman, you had mentioned during the ceremonial item, I recall that Tyler actually passed when they were en route to California to try to get treatment down there.
Yeah, what's important for people to know is that the care we have here in Nevada is really not like what it's like in other parts of the country. There is significantly more advanced health care in other parts of our country, really just several hours away outside of Nevada. And Eric and Tyler were a good example of that, to say his son had a cancer. We couldn't treat it here, and so he was sent to St. Jude's. He was sent to Cedars-Sinai in LA because we don't have what we need here in Nevada. And so his message to the rest of Nevada has been, it's time to catch up. It's time to make sure that we have care for everyone, especially children. And his son unfortunately passed in between here and Cedars-Sinai. And his remarks were that maybe his son would have passed with or without care here in Nevada, but it wouldn't have been on a freeway and 45 minutes away from everybody else. And that was what was tragic about the passing of his son, is that he had to be away from his family and friends because he had to go somewhere else for care. So I appreciate what Eric is doing in taking that message and doing something positive with it, and telling Nevada that we can be better, we can do better, and we have to do better by our next generation.
Yeah, for sure. And kudos to you for bringing that to the public's attention. And then, Councilman, back on May 12th, big event. This is huge, folks. Bingo at Sartini Plaza. This is the retirement center.
These are some intense seniors, by the way.
They love this.
You can't mess it up.
This is very, very cutthroat competition.
Yeah, and all those seniors know that if I fail at being a politician, bingo calling maybe in my future, because I'm a pretty good bingo caller, but Mayor Berkeley, she really showed me up. She's been doing it a long time, and she knows how to do it. She came right in, sat down, and started calling bingo, and she's a professional at it.
So the moral of the story, bring the mayor with you if you're doing bingo.
She can do it like nobody's business.
I love it. Love it. Well, very good. Well, congratulations to those who won there at Sartini. And again, for those that aren't aware, this is a place for seniors, a development, housing for seniors, and the traditional things, the bingo, their holiday meals, those are big deals there. So
it's a lot of fun. I know them, they know me. It's a great time, and they're super fun. The last bingo I did, I brought my kids so they can hand out gifts. So I'm going to put my kids to work soon.
Very good, very good. I like that. And then over at one of the city's facilities, you had a cooking class over at Howard Liebran Active Adult Center. It's right there, kind of Jones and 95 in that area.
It is, and we've been doing, this is our 5th, I think, cooking class, and I've been cooking It's really hard to cook and talk at the same time. So we're enlisting the support of others. So these are 2 medical students at the UNLV Kirk Kerskorian School of Medicine. And they did a salmon and arugula salad. And they did an absolutely fantastic job. We're trying to get it a little bit more healthier. Our next cooking class is with Las Vegas City Fire. I don't know if that one's going to be a healthy one or not. I kind of hope it's not. But
They eat hearty, but they're burning a lot of calories.
Yeah,
you know?
they work harder. The medical students were very healthy. They were very educational. They both those young women wanted to be dermatologists. And they're in their last year of medical school and applying to dermatology residencies
very good.
In the coming months. So it's always fun to do the cooking classes, and I was happy to be an audience participant this time.
You know, if the whole medical thing doesn't work out for them, they could fall back on being a chef. That looked really good.
They would be great. That food was delicious, absolutely delicious.
It looked great.
Yeah.
It looked great. So, well, kudos to them. That sounds pretty cool. And then park cleanup out at Rainbow Family Park back on May 20th. Love when people get out, roll up their sleeves, and help us on this stuff.
This was Vegas Vista Elementary School. One of the parents wanted to organize a field trip, and so they came out, and I always tell the parents is an elected official is not the most interesting person to talk to kids, so I bring out DPS and City Fire to make it a little bit more fun. DPS provided some examples, that's the Department of Public Safety, provided some examples of what they do as police officers, and the kids got to play in their cars and use the microphone and the sirens.
Oh, nice.
And then Las Vegas Fire and Rescue the kids got to spray some water and go through a fire truck. And
Cool.
And then I made them work. They had to pick up trash and they had to wipe down all the playground equipment.
Wow.
So super fun and teaching kids to get out and volunteer and make the world a better place.
You know, and that's a good lesson to teach young people because they'll take pride in things like public parks, public facilities. Take ownership and make sure that they stay nice for everybody. So.
And hopefully, as a kid, as a child, if you know you're throwing something down that's on the ground,
Yeah.
somebody's going to have to pick that up.
Exactly
So
right.
just take care of it yourself.
And our parks teams do a wonderful job of keeping everything shipshape, but there's just some things they just can't get to that we call the micro trash. Cigarette butts, little bits of paper that get scattered. And when you have volunteers like the kids, I saw they had their little pickers.
Yeah, the picker-uppers.
Yeah, picker-uppers.
And then they have the spray and the towels to wipe down the playground equipment. And they did a pretty good job, and they got to play after.
Very nice, very nice. Well, kudos to them. Thank you, kids, for doing that, and we'll see you the next time we have a volunteer event.
Right.
Expect to see you out there. Well, Mayor Pro Tem, those were some events that have been in the past, and for those out there that are watching saying, well, man, I missed that. Sounds really cool. I would like to have done some of that. Well, no fear, because we've got a couple things we're going to tell them about. Your Summer Splash is coming up Saturday, June 28th at Garside Pool.
This is the Parks and Rec and Cultural Affairs team here at the city. Does an amazing job with our pools. We have lifeguards this year, which is amazing.
Yeah, thank goodness.
And it's going to be a hot day, and it's a great time to bring your children out and go swimming at Garside. And thanks to the Parks and Rec team for putting that together.
Yeah, that's going to start from noon to 2 that day. It's free, by the way. Garside Pool is at 250 South Torrey Pines. And, you know, you mentioned the lifeguards. Back during the COVID times, we had a hard time finding enough people to be lifeguards, but we're back.
We're doing well this year.
Yeah, exactly. COVID is behind us, knock on wood, and hopefully stays that way. So, and then this is a great tradition that you've started ever since you've been elected. Brews with Brian. This is going to be Tuesday, July 8th, 5 to 6. Now, this is the brews that are not like coffee brews. These are like Suds brews.
This is, and Bronze Cafe is a staple here in Ward 1. They have the 2 different locations, one at Buffalo, which is where the Brews with Brian will be, and then they're also at Springs Preserve. And so if you haven't had
Bronze Cafe.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. I would encourage you to get out and go try their food, and it'll be a great time. We'll talk about the neighborhood issues. There's a lot of things going on in the city and in the ward, so I'm happy to talk through those.
Yeah, it's Bronze Cafe is delicious. It certainly is. We frequent it a lot here at the city, and again, Brews with Brian that evening, and you do some of these in the morning, which is coffee brews, but these are Suds brews, but it'll be 5 to 6. Bronze Cafe, that's at 2380 North Buffalo Drive, Suite 110. It kind of faces the back of Bronze Cafe is to Buffalo there. Yeah. And then these are really nice because it's just a way to have people come out, talk with you impersonally.
I should say people come out and say they're expecting me to give a speech or stand at a podium. That's just not my style. I like you get a whole lot more information just talking to people and more importantly, listening to people. So I hear myself talk enough. It's helpful to listen to people and what their issues are.
I guess I misspoke. I meant to say in a personal way, not an impersonal way. That you talk with them in a personal way, very one-on-one, very casual, and that's the word I was looking for. But other than like having to come to a formal meeting at City Hall, this is just,
it's more fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Life should be fun.
Exactly. So again, that'll be Tuesday, July 8th, 5 to 6 at Bronze Cafe. And yeah, just come on out, talk to Mayor Pro Tem, visit with some of your neighbors, talk about some issues, and you get to meet the councilman, Mayor Pro Tem, one-on-one. So, all right. Well, great job. We're just about out of time, but Mayor Pro Tem, we want to tell everybody out there, we always want to hear from you. So if there's something you'd like to share with our Mayor Pro Tem, Brian Knudsen, you can call him at 702-229-2299 or send him an email. His address is bknudsen@lasvegasnevada.gov. And he or one of his great staff will get right back to you. So good having you on the program.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hope the kids have a great summer. I know they will. And so the next year, the kids are going to be in what grades?
4th grade and 2nd grade.
Wow.
We're very excited.
Remember when I was a 1st grader, the 2nd graders seemed so big to me. That was like, they were like such big kids.
So Andrew has 2 more years left before he goes on to middle school. Yeah. So he's the king of the hill at school right now.
Getting to be there,
yeah,
exactly
it's
right.
Exciting.
All right, well, best wishes to the family over the summer, and we'll see you back in 6 weeks with another update from Ward 1. In the meantime, folks, don't miss our next show starting on June 12th with Ward 3 Councilwoman Olivia Diaz. City of Las Vegas TV is streaming now. You can catch all of our shows on YouTube at City of Las Vegas TV. You can also watch online at lasvegasnevada.gov/connect. And be sure to check out our newsletter. You can subscribe by scanning the QR code in the credits of this show at the very end. Thanks for watching, everyone. We will see you next time around.